Tyler Durden, one of cinema's greatest icons, was the talk of the town at one point, and we really wanted to explore his character. Was he really a great thinker and idealist, or just insane? We got to get to the bottom of it. What Tyler Durden got right. Tyler Durden is a dark, twisted play on the trope of the manic fairy dream girl. Beautiful and charming, wild and eccentric, free from constraints of society. He plunges into the narrator's life with the sole aim of turning it upside down. The superego. Tyler tells the plotting narrator, "All the things you wish you were, that's me. I look the way you want to look. I fuck the way you want to fuck. I am smart, capable, and most of all, I am free in all the ways you are not." This demoralizing illusion tells us that our lives would be complete if only we had something, anything more. What advertising ultimately offers is not a better product, but a better sell. This is even more true today, as technology has only accelerated production and consumption, and smartphones offer endless hollow distractions. The "if it bleeds it leads" news has every stomach in knots over meaningless headlines about political corruption and murder. Anxiety and depression have skyrocketed, and Amazon and Starbucks are no panacea. Tyler was right on this point. He was also right about something else that is not mentioned as much in this film. With all its flaws, Project Mayhem offers disaffected men a community, a sense of purpose, and a test of their masculinity that so many lack today. With the loss of religious rituals and tribal traditions, modern society has also lost the rites of passage to adulthood. Anyone who has studied traditional cultures or read The Golden Bough or the works of Joseph Campbell knows their importance. They define the stages of our lives, connect us to peers and ancestors who have gone through the same ordeal, and give us a sense of purpose and pride. In Fight Club, office employees and hostages get a chance to reconnect with a part of them, their hunter-gatherer side, that was pulled into the noose by their Hugo Boss ties. Buried alive under faxes, IKEA catalogs, and $80 Dickney wool socks, these men probably have not had an authentic, adrenaline-fueled experience in several years, and never a test of true masculinity. The panacea of consumer society, where hyper-individualistic slogans like "live your own life" or "think different" are the closest thing to rebellion, no longer suffices. Tyler comments in one of the most memorable passages, "We are the middle children of history, man without purpose, without place. We have no great war, no great depression. Our great war is a spiritual war. Our great depression is our life." Tyler participates in this war because he knows that redemption can only be achieved through violence and loss. Hence, the fights, the chemical burns, the fire in the apartment, the outpost of a lonely cabin, purification rituals, so to speak, like the more ancient practices of bloodletting, scarification, or a night spent alone in the woods. Only when the narrator is literally expelled from his former life, think the poignant line, "I am Jack's wasted life," can he begin anew. Only when he has lost everything is he free to do anything, as Tyler tells him. Even in the main plot of the film, the narrator could only cultivate his new personality that would set him free after he lost the most valuable asset, his mind. And in losing it, he regains his soul. The narrator keeps asking, "Was I asleep? Had I slept?" The answer is yes and no. For most of the film, the narrator has not slept, spending his nights as an insomniac, or as Tyler. Movie theater worker, soap maker, revolutionary, and yet he was not mentally up during those months. It was not until he fully became Tyler Durden that he was truly awake and able to sleep in peace. The narrator's final words to Tyler are, "I want you to really listen to me. My eyes are open." What Tyler Durden got wrong. The irony of the last third of the film is that those who engage in Tyler's war against the establishment ultimately become mindless disciplines, chanting slogans, "His name is Robert Paulson," and following orders. No one is allowed to name names in Project Chaos. They are all part of the same compost pile, as Tyler says. What's the first rule of Project Mayhem? You do not ask questions. It makes you wonder, is that our greatest desire? To be led, in all circumstances, to any destination. It seems so. What was the need to conform in the days of our grandparents is now the need to rebel, only to conform again, of course. Poke your nose and get a unique tattoo just like everyone else. And if rebellion is the hallmark of conformity, what can you do to rebel against it? Even Tyler's unique vision becomes a military combined with a swarm of black-clad lemmings ready to jump off the edge of the nearest TRW building. For every one visionary, there are 200 who follow him. What is the difference between them? Intelligence, charisma, strength? Maybe. But visionaries have a vision they are running toward, while most people just have a past, a self-image, or a fear they are running away from. The latter will never be leaders. What teens do not understand is that they still let their parents or authorities control their behavior, whether they do what they are told or the exact opposite. If you are committed to a goal, does it matter if you go with the flow, swim against it, or escape it altogether? The true rebels do not rebel at all. They just follow their own path. The other big mistake is that Tyler's army does not build anything. It just destroys. The body count starts early in the film. The narrator's apartment, his crappy job, a few teeth, Marla Singer, an accident victim of sorts, Jared Leto's pretty face, Robert Paulson, then cars, buildings, existences. He causes near-fatal car accidents, blows up buildings, and instigates juvenile pranks. Is this the way to prove that consumerism is bad? To wake up a generation? Do the men of Project Mayhem even understand why they do what they do? They seem interested only in subjugation, anarchy, an ironic pairing, and destruction. Presumably, the end of the film is the beginning of the next phase, where the real Tyler Durden, the awakened narrator, begins to build a better life and society in place of what has been destroyed. It's unclear whether Project Mayhem will assist with this, or whether the old Tyler's violent vision will be too different from the new Tyler's subdued perspective. Unfortunately, we'll never know what that might have been. What we do know, from the fall of the World Trade Center, from so many wars, rebellions, and protests, is that these acts alone are not enough to bring about lasting change, or even to make a fresh start. Yes, true revolutions often begin with violence, a grassroots movement, and a charismatic leader like Tyler Durden. But without blueprints for a future, there's nothing to build or strive for. It's easy to argue that's not this film's mission, not the story it's trying to tell. As a psychological thriller, as an action thriller, as an inspiring reckoning with a superficial consumerism and isolation of modern life, it succeeds brilliantly. It's all the more disappointing that we do not know what happens next, where Tyler Durden would lead us. What do you love and hate about this film? How did it change you? Of course, if you want to know more, feel free to let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this.